I'm appalled at what you said on that pod thing. It's disgusting.
This is the After the Show podcast. It's where we get honest and real with yo ass. So sit back, relax, have a blast, because it's time for the After the Show podcast.
Oh yeah, here we go. It is the KVJ After the Show podcast. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
Yeah, to me, the weekend begins today. I'm already fired up and fighting with Dolphins fans about who they're going to pick in the first round with the 13th overall pick.
People calling you out?
There's a debate. There's a debate. Yes, Dolphins need a defensive lineman because they got rid of somebody we know. Who was that?
Christian Wilkins, the amazing defensive lineman that you never should have let go to the Raiders, you dumbass.
They realized last year they had a hole at that position.
Oh, shocking. Oh, my God. It hurts.
I can't. I'm not going to get started on Chris Greer. I promise myself I'm not going to go on a rant about Chris Greer. Don't go on a rant.
Go on a rant, man.
No, I'm not going to go on a rant about Chris Greer. Tomorrow I will after he blows. Now, you know what? I'm going to say it from Monday. I'm going to call him out on Monday.
There you
when
go.
He fucks up another draft.
I say we get some sugar tits in you, and
okay.
you rant away, my man.
That's all I need. You don't have to tase me to end it.
We'll grease you up with alcohol.
And even a taser wouldn't work.
Probably would. I'd fight through it. If it's moonshine, yes, I'd fight through it. Yeah, so we'll see. But I'm excited for that. It's interesting to see what happens. So the debate is fun. Michigan had two really good defensive linemen, and there's Mason Graham, Will Johnson, so either one of those. And like I said, I went to that Ohio State-Michigan game, and Michigan had two good players that could hang with Ohio State. And Ohio State wound up winning the national championship, and you knew they had probably the best team in the country, and they kept running the ball right at the only two good players Michigan had. And I'm in the stands, and all the fans like, what the fuck are we doing? Holy shit, they've got 9 other people that are not nearly as good as your players. You're running at the only 2 guys that are going to be picked in the first round of the NFL draft. Play after play after. It was unbelievable. We thought Ohio State threw the game.
Damn.
It was that unbelievable. Ohio State was a 20-point favorite. And I'm staying there in 20-degree weather, and I'm like, this is miserable.
As long as the debate don't turn to hate.
No, I can't. To me, I'm not going to go with anything that gets hate or gets legitimately nasty because, look, I don't need that kind of energy. So I'm going to keep it fun, and we can have a nice little debate. If you get nasty about it, then it's like it's over.
I played baseball with 2 guys. One was a huge Yankee fan. The other was a huge Boston Red Sox fan. And they got into a debate who is the better player, Mickey Mantle or Ted Williams, and it ended in a fist fight.
Oh boy,
they got so heated up about it.
What are we doing?
And, I mean, it was pretty amazing to watch how the whole thing developed and just how it spiraled so quickly.
It's unreal. Yes, no, some people do. They just they don't get that. Look, this is a sport. This is to be extracurricular entertainment in your life. Yeah, if you're fighting over it, come on, man.
Fuck you, Mickey Mantle was the best.
Crazy. People be crazy, man. That's it. People be crazy. So that's going on, and should be a nice, fun little weekend. Some cool stuff going on. It's so hard because I've got a teenager in Cannon, and he doesn't really communicate. He doesn't talk a lot. And my
None
wife,
of them do, honestly. It's not just him.
Okay.
Some of them are very, very buttoned up.
Yeah, so I get a text from my wife this weekend. I had so many great things. I'm like, I can't wait to do this weekend. We're gonna do that. I got a text. He's got football all day Saturday and Sunday.
One of my favorite segments is Kevin's fake awesome weekend.
Yeah,
when you talk about all the things
I had it all built up.
You
I was
would
like,
love to do.
I was in my head last night. I'm like, yes, that's gonna be great.
The only
That'll be
thing
so
that's
much fun.
consistent is the hope followed by the disappointment.
But you're right. That's the only thing that ever pans out on my weekends is I have such a great itinerary of things that we're going to do. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And then there's always that last second curve. People are like, why are you so non-committal? It's because I know. I just know. There's no chance. I mean, I would love to join you there. I probably won't, but I'd love to join you.
Kevin's fake awesome weekend is kind of one of my favorite segments.
It's a dream.
It is.
It's
That's
a
all it
Kevin's
is.
dream weekend, and it will stay a dream.
It is.
You talking about the concert you want to go to?
I do.
How great it's going to be.
So many hopes. So many hopes. Yeah, and you got a couple things tonight. Pearl Jam's going to be at Hard Rock Live. I don't know if anybody still gets excited about them. They actually, their latest album, I haven't been excited about a Pearl Jam album probably since I don't know, the mid-'90s. But they had a couple of good songs. Dark Matter. They kind of got back to the original Pearl Jam sound a bit on their latest album.
They're playing Jazz Fest, and I'm going to be there, not this
no way.
weekend, but next weekend.
Wow, okay.
Pearl Jam is at Jazz Fest in New Orleans.
I'd check out that set. I'm kind of back into Pearl Jam again.
All right, you know, you can always come with us.
He's got, there's this one song he does. It sort of sounds a little bit like Dust in the Wind, the picking part. And it,
You just described every song.
I know, but it's a good song. I'll send you the link. I think you'll like it.
They have a few that are,
is that called?
that you kind of forget about. You're like, oh, you know what? That is kind of cool little groove. Yeah, I probably need to pull out some Pearl Jam, go do a little deep dive. Yeah, Richard said, I was never much of a Pearl Jam fan. I like maybe 2 of their songs. And I was kind of the same. There were so many people that they were one of those bands. Don't you hate when an artist, they get overhyped and people really don't like them. They're just fucking sheep and they can't, they're so good, man. They're just so good. Like Pearl Jam was one of those bands that they were good, but they weren't as good as what you're saying.
I like the one I like is the elderly woman in the behind the cupboard that lives in the world.
I don't know any of those. There you go. That's what it was. That's what it was. Yeah.
We played the shit out of Pearl Jam because I was at a station that flipped to alternative rock right when Pearl Jam was like busting out on the scene.
Yep.
I am very steeped in Pearl Jammy. There's a lot of jam.
Yeah.
I was more of a Soundgarden guy. I loved Chris Cornell.
Yes.
And when Chris Cornell went solo, I realized how amazing he was. And he's one of those guys, in my opinion, that got better with time. He became a really, really great songwriter. He did Audio Slave as well. I mean,
Audio Slave has got some songs, man.
Hell yeah. I really was a Chris Cornell
right.
fan.
You're absolutely right on that. He is still, to this day, not gotten the credit that he deserves.
He does an acoustic version of Black Hole Sun. I've seen him do it on the Stern Show, and I've seen him do it in this weird looking theater.
Yep.
It's next level awesome.
I mark true talent is in the test is someone who can sit down with just them and an acoustic guitar and they rip out a song that's just amazing. Like Ed Sheeran has the ability. Chris Cornell, same thing.
Randy Pennington.
You're right. All the greats. All the greats. Yeah, Richard said I was more of a Stone Temple Pilots fan, and I agree. They were fantastic as well.
I just went on a little STP ride on over the weekend because my girlfriend doesn't know him that well, and I was trying to show her some songs. And Sour Girl is a jam.
They had
Is it Sour Girl?
Yeah, that was one of them. But when I saw them in their hometown of San Jose in the mid-'90s. And they had a lot, obviously, really rockin' songs. But as they took a break, this big round circle drops out of the ceiling into the middle, and it was them on this big old pedestal stage that came down, and they did an acoustic set with all of those great songs, and they just sounded amazing.
The one I never even heard of that came up in my algorithm, I go, this is such a jam, Lady Picture Show.
Oh, what a great song. You're right.
That is so good.
Lady Picture Show, she hides behind. Yeah, again, they're one of those ones that just has so many good songs from that era.
We're piling it out, man.
Yeah. So, and like I said, Pearl Jam, I think really got a majority of the shine in that era, but I don't think they deserved it. I think some of these great groups that we just talked about, to me, were better. But I am telling you that I think Pearl Jam's latest album was good. So if anybody goes to the show tonight, or I think they're doing again Saturday.
That other the song that Cornell did with Eddie Vedder.
Sunday, sorry.
I don't mind stealing bread.
Oh, my Temple of the Dog. That was Temple of the Dog.
I'm going crazy.
I'm going crazy. Yeah, they had 2 songs they did. Temple of the
Yes.
Dog on that one album. They were both fantastic. Yeah, they were in a zone. They were in a zone that era.
We kind of nailed that.
Yeah, we all sang different words for the chorus. I said, I'm going Kevin. You said, I'm going. Kevin said, I'm going crazy. And you sounded like a fucking Muppet.
I thought I nailed it.
Okay, got a ton of emails here. Some great comments. Thanks for sending them in. Mail at kvjshow.com. We'll start off with Doug here. I had made the point, which to me, it just seemed odd that we had a story out of Austin, Texas, of a Waymo driverless taxi that was driving in circles and locked the riders in the car. And it wasn't until they threatened to make a TikTok live that it opened the doors. Like, that's bizarre.
That is bizarre. It's listening and it doesn't want to be shamed on social media.
What is that? So that was odd. And then I said, with the very next story, in the same state of Texas, they thought it was a good idea that they're going to put more driverless semis. So they want to increase the size of the vehicles and the technology that's having all these problems, yet make it so it's a real death machine.
Oh, boy.
In the very same state. And Doug said, yeah, I heard you guys talking about having the semis without drivers. And yes, it would increase profit, because that's the one thing I see. It's interesting, you know, because when I come to work and on the weekends and whatnot, you know, the little paths where you see semi drivers, and they must know too. I'm sure they know on their routes. Like, for instance, Palm Beach Lakes has a service road that is right there where they used to have, they have a Dunkin' that's right there in some of the furniture places.
Yes.
Like on a Saturday morning, you'll see a ton of semis lined up there. They know, okay, this is where you go, because it's easy for them to pull into a service road and they can pull right out and get right back on the highway. It's close to I-95. But they've got to stop down for whatever time it is, 8 hours or whatever. They have to get their legit sleep. But guess what? Driverless car, keep on trucking, baby. So it would increase profit. But he said the problem with the driverless cars and trucks is that you got to consider every scenario a vehicle or a driver encounters on the road. And you get to make those decisions when you encounter something that's an anomaly. The first fatality by a driverless car was a lady who crossed the street in an area that was not a crosswalk. The taxi car did not know what the lady and her bike were, so it just ran right through them.
Oh, my gosh.
And it would be the same for a semi on a highway. If it encountered a car stopped, it's not going to be in the program, and the semi would be like, oh, fuck it, right through it.
Well, that's
Okay,
why.
well, that's a problem then. If we don't have it
If that's
programmed
true,
to
yeah.
recognize a stopped vehicle on the road, then the program should not be used.
It's the same concept. You remember you talked about how guys were pushing down those robotic dogs and going, oh, it looks so mean. They're pushing down the robots. They do all that stuff because the robot has to learn all of these little anomalies that happen through life. Like you're saying with the car would have to know every single situation it's going to ever come across, and it can't know that until it does that. And that's what's happening. It's getting in situations it doesn't know how to handle, but then once it does, it'll be able to how to handle it then. But good luck with that. You know how many different ways you can kill somebody with a car? Drive into a...
Well, you speak from experience. You did hit a pedestrian.
Look, it was a very large bush that I could not see.
Bushes make blind spots, Kevin.
It was
Yes,
a blind
they do.
spot. Kid was okay. Bounced right back. Down the youth.
I would like to talk to that kid. Hey, do you remember when this guy hit you because you were behind a bush?
I would actually really like to talk to my ex-girlfriend's mother, because it was the first time I'd ever met her, and I'm backing up. Right to meet you. And I hit the kid right in front of my...
She witnessed it.
The whole thing. It was horrific.
She had to be like, oh my gosh, I hope my girl doesn't marry him.
Wait, he's okay. I swear he's okay.
Doug did say, on the plus side, though, Olive Garden has a chicken cream soup with spinach, and it is fantastic.
Are you going to go deep throat those breadsticks today and make a video? Because I am here for it.
I was going to bring him into work, but I don't know if I'm going to have time to go to Olive Garden today. I'm just being honest with you. I got a lot of stuff to do. I'll do my best. I'll do my best. Or I can order it on DoorDash. I'm sure that'll be cheap.
If it's never-ending breadsticks, can they just keep coming to your house?
That's a great question.
Yes. Yeah, by the way, turn right around and get another...
Found a flaw in your plan.
And on food, Nathan said, thank you, KVJ, for talking about how much Chipotle sucks.
Oh.
I am just like Jay Bird, where I got tricked into thinking Chipotle is good, but every time I go there to get food, I'm always disappointed in how crappy the food really is. I mean, let's face it, Chipotle is not good. It is a healthier option than many of the fast casual places we have, and it is convenient. But there's plenty of other restaurants that are fast casual like Chipotle that are immensely better. And I'm sure Jay Bird's going to back me up on this. Pollo Tropical, where you can generally get the same type of food in a bowl form, is immensely better.
It is.
Tons of variety of sauces. Bolé, which I know is a completely different type of food, has plenty of healthy options with incredible flavor ranges. And I am a defender of Chipotle, but I do agree. I think Bolé is better than Chipotle. I enjoy them better. And he says Chipotle is just mid at best. They don't have any specialty sauces that really jump out at you besides their dressing, which you cannot order extra or pay for. They only allow one per food item, and they will not sell you more. All their food is heavenly seasoned with cilantro.
Heavily.
That's what I thought, too.
It's salty, too, some of it.
Yeah, he said, which they use as a crutch. About the only thing there that's worth a damn is the guacamole. All the other Tex-Mex places that Jason named are loads better than Chipotle. Thank you for doing the Lord's work.
I like this email. I like
He
it.
says, I've been arguing with two of my friends about this, and it's nice to know I'm not alone. Look, I think Chipotle still has its fans and followers. I think it's still doing well.
They
But
just-
Bolé is way better.
No, Chipotle has their fans. They're just shitting their pants on the rig.
Right.
They should give you an adult diaper on the way out.
Yeah, there you go. I was gonna go there yesterday. I decided not to, because I was gonna give them another chance, like
They don't deserve
a relationship. Oh, please love me.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard Kimmel was even bagging on it last night, how Chipotle is going to Mexico for the first time. And he's like, well, they already know diarrhea. So he's kind of going the same thing. So apparently Chipotle must make you crap your pants, because he's cracking jokes about it, and you reference it all the time. I don't think I ever shit myself after Chipotle.
No, I just think it's bland. I think the rice is the rice. I feel like the rice is always left out for 7 days, and then they serve it. That's just how I get down. I know people love it. I'll shut the fuck up. But yeah, I'm more of a Tijuana's Flats, or even a Moe's. But I don't see Moe's around. The one near me closed.
There's one in downtown at the Gardens, I thought.
No, I think it's gone.
It's gone?
Yeah, I went to go get some. Unless
Or Legacy Place.
I think it's gone.
Wow.
Yeah, because I go there
Yeah.
a lot to get that weed alcohol or that weed liquor. They sell that. At
that's right, Total Wine.
Get it
Yeah.
now.
Oh, yeah, nowadays. My daughter bought a bottle of that.
What'd she think?
She seemed to like it. She had done a little bit, and she's like, yeah, you can feel it. Makes you feel a little relaxed. So she seemed to enjoy it. She had it. Yeah, we were at a little dinner party, but unfortunately I was the driver, so I didn't try it.
There's
I'd like to
levels
try
you
it.
can do, and then looks like there's a new pink flavor out. I think it's watermelon.
Okay.
Or it's a flavor. They were telling me about it when I went to the store.
Okay.
They're
Yeah.
starting to recognize me. That's the classy liquor store. They don't sell the weed potion at the liquor store by my house.
No.
You can't get it there.
Can't get it.
They're just
No.
straight up booze.
Straight up booze.
Old
and-
school.
Straight up booze and depression. You get it that one.
Well, they go so well together.
Well, it's right next to a motel
I swear to God.
that has like a lot of questionable individuals.
I'm not even kidding you. Everyone that walks out of the liquor store, they're holding their bag, and they just look like they've got just sadness,
Regret.
and time, and just like fuck.
Yeah.
The choices I've made
Right.
that put me here.
It's Monday, and then I go, shit, you're here too, dog.
This email is about water and how you need to drink it with your body and what your body does with it. It says when somebody starts drinking significantly more water, especially after being chronically dehydrated or consuming a lot of processed foods, sodium, and sugary drinks, the body doesn't immediately respond with noticeable benefits. It takes approximately 2 weeks. Now, there are 3 steps your body will notice. 1, the initiation, where the body will hold the water because it doesn't trust you, which will result in bloating and peeing a lot. Then there's cellular hydration. The hydration begins with blood volume, stabilizes, organ function begins to optimize, and then balance. Your kidney can see the balance of potassium and sodium. So basically, Jaybird will be dehydrated till his body trusts that his hydration is reliable. Always drink water, it says.
Yeah, and I understand what they're saying, but I think I drink a lot more water than people realize. I drink a lot of water. I just got my kidney tested and everything looks great, but I have to drink a lot of water. I don't like drinking it, but I've been doing it for quite a long time. I was cramping up badly yesterday because of a back issue I'm having. There's two different issues going on.
Yeah.
I have a back issue and I have
It's
a
not
hip.
always caused by dehydration.
Yes, and what happens is sometimes I have to sleep a certain way that causes cramping, and it's just the way it is until the back fixes itself, or the hip, or I die. One of the three. Dead by Christmas.
Yep. And an interesting point here that I will pick up in the next email that was made on the water email about cursive handwriting, where Florida is looking to, I guess, up the importance of it. Not that they don't teach it at all, but they want to put an emphasis on it between 2nd and 5th grade, and at the end of 5th grade, you would have to test out of it. They feel like it's still a valuable skill that not enough kids are learning. And Katie said, the Bill of Rights and our Constitution are written in cursive, and if it goes away, there could be a generation who can't even read our founding documents.
Wow.
That's powerful, right?
That is powerful.
And the generations go, wait, what? What's a founding document?
Yeah, scarily so. And Richard had said here, I would call out Kevin on this one, writing in cursive. It's not synonymous with writing in general. You can write things down standard without putting them in cursive and have the same result that Kevin was trying to say was good for having everybody learn cursive. And if you missed that conversation, I was just talking about if you're trying to remember something, it's good to write it down, because they've done studies that your brain will recall it better. They said if you're doing creative writing, slowing it down by writing because it takes you longer is better than trying to type it out, and also writing something with emotion for the same reasons that you're pausing, working through it. I did emphasize cursive just for the discussion, but you're right. It worked with either one.
I thought your explanation was awesome yesterday.
Thank you.
And I agree with you.
Yeah, I do too. And it was a lesson to me because, look, we've got to do creativity and creative writing here for the show, and I continually type it out. I don't even listen to my own advice. And so I was like, I probably need to get a pad and paper, and as I'm just trying to come up with ideas, just start doing the doodling. Once upon a time, I used to. There was something that we had learned about your morning notes where you should just go on and just start writing and try to fill 2 pages. And you don't judge the quality of the writing. You're just writing and blah, 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 moving your pen across it. And things come out. And then you can start to connect some things and say, okay, that's a little semblance of something I could use.
Last night, because of what we talked about, it inspired me. I was working on a KVJ jingle, and I wrote it out all on paper, and I can tell I have not written with my hand in so long. It looked fucking unhinged. I couldn't even. I go, is that a drawing or is that are you writing? Mm-hmm. It was so crazy. If you don't use it, you lose it, my friends.
That is true. You need to practice, especially if you're just learning it. Like Rocco, he's struggling with penmanship because he's not practicing. Adults and kids need to practice.
And that goes with everything. If you don't use it, you lose it.
It's true.
You know what I mean.
Are you making a sexual type thing there, right? Is that what that is? With the pen through the...
Are you telling Kevin his penis is going to fall off?
You better start using that thing. You look down.
It gets used.
I know it does.
How frequently it's getting used these days.
See, I knew she was going to go too far. I knew she was going to start quizzing you.
I know.
Well, everybody always asks me, is it true that Kevin and the Queen don't hook up? And I'm like, well, they've been through droughts.
Yeah.
But I think you guys have been making it happen recently.
I think we try to put efforts into it. Yeah, and the schedules still don't work themselves out. But yeah, you got to make an effort to do that.
But in like 2025, you've definitely banged.
I believe so. I mean, I'm not keeping a scorecard, but yeah. I'll try to make it happen this weekend.
Do it for us, Kevin.
I will.
You'll know when Kevin gets laid because you'll see fireworks in the sky and you'll go, looks like Ralston's getting laid.
Yeah. I put a bottle rocket in my ass to try to time it out.
I wish that was real.
Wouldn't that be
Please make a
amazing?
video.
I wish that was.
Wouldn't that be something? If you could time that, I'd be like, oh, I think I'm going to... And then, yeah.
The boy just came. Yeah.
The bottle rocket comes flying out of my ass.
Oh my God.
It would do well on social.
I don't think you can even put. We have to go OnlyFans or put that
that'd
on
be an
fucked up
OnlyFans
nose,
video,
witchy toes, or whatever it's called.
I'd save that idea for OnlyFans. It would probably make me $7 to $10.
I disagree. That gets us 50 bones.
It's drinking money.
Yeah. It's drinking money at a really shitty bar.
Yeah. Jennifer said, Jaybird, which AI are you using for your AI guide, Lily? I think I need to get ahead of this.
Chat GPT, but you're gonna have to pay extra. That's what they do. Just like a drug dealer, all of these sites are like that, where they'll let you have something for free, and you can kind of see what it does, and they go, to upgrade it for $35 a month, it will do this for you, or it'll give you more time with your robot. They know how to really fuck you with your money.
Yeah.
That's what that Black Mirror episode really is about, is pay to play kind of a thing, and it's basically you're paying with your health.
Damn.
Yeah, if you don't have enough money to upgrade to the next service, you would have commercial Tourette's.
Yeah.
Very good episode, by the way. I do highly recommend it if you've not seen the Black Mirror episode, the new one.
It's horrifying because it seems like it's so possible.
They do a good job, and I think that's why people like those episodes or that series, is because they fuck your mind over on something and they go, maybe that could happen in the future, or shit, maybe even now.
Right.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have some cool concepts on there. And David had said, I just want to implore Jaybird and Kev and even Virginia to watch season 1 of The Last of Us on Max. It's much more than a zombie show. It has themes of love, loss, sacrifice. I guarantee you, you will feel real emotions towards the characters, and it will leave you thinking afterwards. Not to mention the horror and zombie aspect for Jaybird is very high quality, and the suspense is palpable. It plays just as well as a pure horror show and a heartfelt human experience. It does both. Denny's would back up the same game as well. I fully endorse the full first season.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a good reco.
Let us know. Yeah, I might. I'm going to probably add that to my list and just give it a shot and see how that looks. There are a couple things going on TV-wise. I saw that You with Penn Badgley, the final season, season 5, has dropped overnight on Netflix. So if you're still in that show, unlike Virginia, you can go and check that out.
I jumped off of it. I just think Joe, the bad guy, Joe changed. I didn't change. I loved Joe season 1. He just changed. I don't know what about it. I think Penn Badgley, the person, got more involved in shaping Joe, the character.
Okay.
I liked Joe when he was more psycho and twisted. I like him when he's sinister.
He got a conscience later. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I just think that Joe got a little muddy for me. And Joe, I think he wants it to come back around and for Joe to lose in the end. And Joe didn't lose.
It can be what happens sometimes. They do lose the way of a character and they forget. And it's character betrayal is what happens.
Yes.
With it. That happened in the last episode of the Dexter. And I won't ruin it by telling you how, but Dexter did something that Dexter doesn't do. And you're like, that's against his creed. That's not who Dexter is. And I didn't like that part of it in the writing, because to me, I like when somebody stays true to how they are, unless it's just like, wow, you've seen, and the whole point was about them making a journey, and then you can see the change in it.
Yeah,
But
that's different.
yeah, this was just, it seemed like lazy writing. That's like, wait, you wrote this creed that this guy follows, and then you just sloppily betrayed it that easily in that last episode?
Yeah, 2 series that were good series that I think did that. The Office did that, where they started the last 2 seasons. Characters that you love from the first 7 were doing things they never would have ever done in a million years. And Game of Thrones, their last season, all of a sudden people are doing all kind of shit that they never would have done.
That was the problem.
They changed.
Yes.
Well, that was because the TV writers had to take over when the book writer hadn't caught up yet. And yeah, what they did with Khaleesi, unbelievable. Like, that just was, what the hell are you guys doing? With all of them. It was just terrible.
I thought the Queen could have been even more evil.
Yeah.
She kind of softened up a bit. I mean, granted, I know she killed a lot of people. Don't get me wrong.
It was a hot mess. It was an undoing of everything they'd worked up to that point to do on that show. So what it says for you, Joe Goldberg returns to New York to enjoy his happily ever after until his perfect life is threatened by the ghosts of his past and his own dark desires.
I mean, I'll watch it because that kind of sounds good.
Okay.
He is twisted. If they make him really twisted and they don't, I like when he gets away with it.
I'm not saying bad villains or villains don't need a backstory, but not every villain needs a backstory. Sometimes it is just cool if there's just an evil motherfucker and you don't know why, and movie ends. You go, wow, that was just pure evil. What the? I don't need to know. I don't need to see when he was good and how his heart changed. I don't even want to know sometimes. So they did a Boba Fett, but we don't have to get into Star Wars shit.
Okay.
This is not about Star Wars.
I know, you're right.
Other TV stuff coming up. Season 2 of Wednesday premieres August 6th on Netflix. Jenna Ortega is going to be back as Wednesday. You got Lady Gaga, Steve Buscemi, Thandie Newton, and Haley Joel Osment is in that.
I think Jenna Ortega is in the new season of You as well.
Wow, okay. Busy girl.
Very busy.
She is. I think people like that show. I think that's a popular show, right?
It is, yep. Very popular. I've not watched it yet, but it is very popular. And I'm excited by this. Enola Holmes 3 has begun production in the UK with Millie Bobby Brown, Henry Cavill, and Helena Bonham Carter. I've seen the first 2. They're basically little movies, and they're solid. They're very good. So it's just, you know what? It's lighthearted, easy, fun, all that kind of stuff. So
No murder. I've heard enough. I'm out.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, they've done very well for Netflix. I've enjoyed them. And they say what's really popping this week, for obvious reasons, shows about the Pope. They say Conclave, the film, has surged following the death of Pope Francis. It's got Ralph Fiennes in it, Isabella Rossellini, John Lithgow's in it, Stanley Tucci. It saw a 283% increase in viewership on Amazon Prime Video. It's pretty good. And they say that the movie delves into the Vatican's secretive papal selection process, and that's what you're going to be going through now. I just remember, boy, they show a lot of footage of that Pope vote. I remember that. Like, the cameras are locked on it. People get all into that stuff. And they say the Two Popes also is doing well on Netflix. Its viewership has gone up 417%. So a couple things to check out. And this is an interesting thought. We were talking about how the Ice Bucket Challenge has been revived, except now they're doing it for mental health promotion. And this is an interesting thought about this. In this email, it says, I am against the Ice Bucket Challenge. It is not for mental health. In fact, it can easily cause a lot of anxiety for anybody who gets called out to do it. It's cold water being dumped over you, and then the pressure on social media to go and then do it. It seems to actually cause more mental health issues than it does to try to make sure people are aware of the mental health issue existing in the first place.
You're right. Someone calls you out. You're like, fuck,
I would be
gotta go do
mentally
this.
stressed. I'd be like, damn it, now I got to work out. All right.
I gotta go buy ice in a bucket.
Yeah.
We're not doing this again. We already did this. We did it like 4 or 5 years ago. It was for a different
You got
charity.
one run at it.
We did it with barbecue sauce, which proves to, and it was my idea, which shows you I have mental health issues. It was a terrible idea. It came off so unhinged.
Right.
It was fucking insane.
We already did it. We're not doing it again. Don't call out anybody on this show because we ain't doing it.
You in Virginia. It was like our first or second week at RMF, and you guys did it in front of your house, and then you guys called me out, so I had to do it. So I had this big old bucket of barbecue sauce, but I had to fill it myself. So the first half of it misses me completely. So my video is so shitty. All I get is my shoulder.
Something tells me all of our videos were shitty.
Yeah.
No, we got some gold in there, baby. Some golden oldies.
All the videos of us dumping barbecue sauce on ourselves was probably shitty.
I think we were 2 and out. I think we knew it was a shitty idea.
Yeah, I didn't feel it then. I'm with you, Virginia, not feeling it now. And this is an interesting thought about mental health and illness from our friend Chili. She said, this is a shout out to how our cities and states handle and treat mental illness. No understanding and complete gaslighting the fact that a mentally ill individual cannot rationalize. My son suffers from mental illness, bipolar manic depression, schizophrenia, personality disorder. Because he is an adult, he was able to stop taking his medication that allowed him to be productive. 6 months after he stopped taking his medication, he ended up in jail. It is evident to all around him the charges are all results of a desperate individual needing food and shelter. Never harming anyone, he is charged with erroneous charges, hiding in the ceiling of a 24-hour gas station, stealing food to eat. After being in custody, the system should have a way to determine the real threat an individual is and the real help an individual needs to be back as a productive member of society. Jail to a mentally ill individual will only worsen their character and state of mind. At this point in time, my son is serving time in Arkansas where they do not have the judicial system to hear cases, and being held for theft, you do not get a hearing for 7 months. So even if you are found innocent, you still sit in jail until your case is heard 7 months or more later. My heart is broken. Yeah, that's tough. And I can confidently say that we're not handling mental health the right way. And the question I'd always had, even going back to the 90s, when I went to Ohio University, the one thing if you know Athens, Ohio, is they have a huge former mental hospital sitting on the hill that overlooks the town. And it is an old building, and it's ominous. And I used to do landscaping up there. That's where I worked. They call it the physical plant. But it was all pretty much shut down. They had still a little bit of a modern part of it, but you could see how big this complex was, and they only used a small little section of it currently. And they used to really invest, and they probably, I'm sure, were not doing it well, because I saw some of the dungeons and all that they had they had the criminally, mentally insane that were in there, and that was kind of ominous and spooky. They easily could make a horror movie in that place. They had a tuberculosis wing that was up the hill where they had to separate people that got TB. And the whole thing was freaking just full of disease and horror. But it showed you an era where they built huge complexes for mentally ill people. And I don't know what we're doing. I don't seem to see the kind of mental hospitals that I once used to see. And it feels like maybe we need to separate, because there are some people that should be in jail because they're just assholes and they make terrible decisions and they want to hurt people. But there are some people that get in bad situations because they are mentally ill. And I feel like they need to be treated a different way.
I think you're right.
And it doesn't feel like we're putting a priority on that yet.
And if she's talking about how her son didn't hurt anybody, yeah, he broke into a place, and yeah, he was hiding in the roof, and it was like crazy behavior, but should he be doing jail with people that rape and murder? It just
and look, some people, I would still argue that there are many mentally ill people that still should not be out walking amongst people in society because they have easy triggers and can go off and can harm people. And to me, that's what jails are for, is keeping people away from the innocent in society. But it doesn't mean that just when they're behind and they're, I guess in a sense incarcerated or they cannot leave, that you treat them the same way.
Yeah, it's tough too, because I think there's a whole spectrum of mental illness. I think there's some people that, you can tell when they're off of their medication and they can become violent or they can do terrible things. And like you're saying, what if you're just a person that's just an asshole and you are, you're doing things in your own personal life that's creating the monster that's within? I don't have an answer. I think we all, on a certain level, struggle with some type of depression, some type of anxiety. It's just, for some people, it's just not as bad as others. I mean, being a human is fucking weird. It's an odd thing, and not everyone knows how to handle that. But then you just go, you can't allow people to, like you're saying, murder, rape. You can't. That has to.
But it'd be nice when we're talking about our prisons and jails and even our mental health institutions that the goal should be about rehabilitating people and getting them to be the best version of themselves, so that maybe one day they could be back and be a thriving part of our society rather than something that's going to hurt other innocent people in it.
Unfortunately, I don't think everyone is able to be.
Not everybody can. And you're right. Not everyone would get out. But the goal would be for everyone in there. Let's try to do something to improve your humanity rather than just locking you in a deep, dark hole and throwing away the keys, which I feel like a lot of places do. They don't really give them that kind of attention.
My grandma worked in a mental institution, and we're talking back in the 60s, and she said it was pretty intense.
Really?
Yeah, it was very, very intense, and she saw a lot of stuff go down.
My grandmother was in a mental institution 7 times.
I'll see your granny story and raise you one.
And it was terrifying.
You win, my man.
Yes. Your grandma was just there. My grandmother was locked to a bed. Yeah.
All right, you win.
I grew up seeing a lot of it. And I don't even know. That'd be interesting to see if that mental hospital is still there in Parkersburg, West Virginia, where she had to go. I spent a lot of my childhood there, so I don't know. Maybe we just got a lot of crazy people in that part of the world. I don't know.
The other thing, I think the thing that is tough and that bothers me is when people that know right from wrong and don't have mental issues to the point where if they were off their medication that they go crazy, but they blame their bad behavior on mental issues. They don't take accountability and responsibility. They can't hug the ugly cactus or look in the ugly mirror because they don't want to take responsibility. And I think that's what is annoying sometimes, is where people who really need help, they really need help. And then to other people, oh, I have mental illness. Well, do you, or are you using that as an excuse?
And I don't know. It'd be a good question if anybody knows the difference. If you have somebody that is very good at mental health awareness, and they understand it, therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever it might be, can they separate? Can they understand? Because I think they do have tests, right? Because they have people that try to claim that they're mentally insane, so they can't be held competent when it comes to a murder trial.
Absolutely. And if you show any kind of, premeditation, that's out the window typically.
Yeah. And Elise said, can you please say something on the radio about USF on the 19th of April finding an empty gun case and empty magazines and only sending a letter out to the students, and yesterday finding more empty clips on campus? I don't know anything about that, Elise, and from what I've seen, it's not been in the news, so I can't speak on anything I don't know of. Your email is the only thing that I've seen of that. But I do know, and I saw that at Florida State, they had some students that are standing up and they're protesting. They're calling for, I guess, security because they just don't feel safe. And so whether it be some kind of regulations they want done, they're trying to say, hey, we don't like the fact that we don't feel safe at our school.
They went through it. Once you go through it and you have an active shooter on your campus, it changes the way you think about active shooter situations. And I don't blame them for wanting to put every kind of precaution in place, including security.
Everything in your life comes from your perspective. If you've never been mugged before, you're not really that worried about being mugged. As soon as you get mugged, every time you go out, shit, am I going to get mugged again?
Yeah.
I mean, things in your life change your perspective a bit.
Ryan said, well, too bad college students can't defend themselves. I was 21 with the CCL at college, and I had to leave my gun in the car where it was stolen. Yeah, I saw there was one Florida politician today that his recommendation was, let's arm students. So he was kind of going the other way and be like...
Is that in Polk County?
Probably was a guy from Polk County. Yeah, I think he was more. He was saying it from a lectern in Tallahassee, so he might have been more of a northern Florida boy. Shelby said, thank you guys so much for finding and uploading the Drunk Podcast to YouTube. I work overnights, and I just got through the first 2, and they have made my nights go by so much faster. My favorite part is all the time Kevin and Jason have to ask, are we still on? So funny.
And remarkably, they were still on.
Couldn't believe it.
Someone should have pulled the plug.
There
are certain things I think back in this crazy ride with you guys, and that would be one of the ones that stick out to me. That podcast, and when we realized that the one dude was on the phone still, I think. Did we interview him?
I don't remember. Honestly, I just thought we were just hanging out after a while. I'm like, I couldn't remember. I was so drunk. I'm like, did we end it? I couldn't even.
Well, I think you left me alone with the one dude.
Yeah, I didn't even remember what was going on.
You got up to go pee.
I did. Like I was not doing anything. I forgot that there was actually an audience that was consuming what we were doing. I thought we were just hanging out drinking.
Well, there was 2, and I sometimes mix the 2 up. They kind of blur together.
I can see how you would do that.
Yes, and I don't know if you were you at both, or were you at neither one of them, or were you at just one of them?
I don't know what I wasn't there for. I wasn't there.
There's one you were not there for. I know that for a fact.
When the guy fell off the wagon that was sober, and he came in here, and you guys were having so much fun, and he decided to start drinking again that day. I was not here for that.
That's the one I wish I wasn't there for.
And I don't think you were here for the Fran one either. I think
I was like, oh no, I did. Yeah, I don't know.
We miss you so much. We got
you know what happened with that was
there's no governor.
Somebody reminded me it was because it was, I think, like every Friday we were doing the breweries that were coming in, and so that's the era where that happened. And Virginia had 2 Fridays where she couldn't make it. And so it was already dialed in that was locked into what we were doing on Fridays, and that's why that was happening.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah. I absolutely blame part of my drinking problem on the old company that we're no longer with. We did so many drinking podcasts.
Well, yeah,
and
'cause-
it was built into like a business deal.
Yeah, it was a deal that we had sold. So it was like, all right, well, we're getting paid to drink. Let's do it.
Well, then bringing all this beer, and if you sat here and didn't drink any, you're kind
It
of
was insulting.
That's the one day you're like, okay, I got to be a company
I
man.
gotta be company man.
We were.
And who's taking me home?
And Alex sent a nice email, said, I just want to take the time to write a thank you for all the hard work you guys do. It definitely doesn't go unnoticed by your fans. I don't always get to watch or listen to the entire show in the mornings, but I really love the fact that in the afternoons when I get home, I can hop on YouTube and you guys take the time to clip and edit and upload the show and all the fun segments from that day. I don't listen to any other radio show, so I don't know if this is the norm for your industry, but I do know it still takes a lot of work to make sure your fans can listen easily. So thank you. Hope you all have a great Thursday and upcoming weekend. Thank you, Alex.
Aw,
That was
that's
awesome. I do
kind.
appreciate
What a
that.
sweet
It's nice to hear.
email.
Very, very kind.
Okay, well, we'll get to the nasty ones tomorrow.
Oh, they're coming.
Good. I love Nasty Email Friday.
So that will happen as well. Good or bad, send them to us, mail@kvjshow.com. Have a great day. We'll see you back here for the weekend tomorrow. Goodbye.